My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest anxieties of the human heart is the fear of tomorrow. We worry about income, about provision, about whether we will have enough. We worry about our children, our future, our health, our status. And sometimes that worry quietly eats away at our peace, even though our hearts know something very powerful. Nothing happens in this world without the permission of Allah. Long before you were born, before you took your first breath, your sustenance was already written. Not just the amount, but the timing, the means, and the lessons attached to it. This does not mean we sit back and do nothing. No, we strive, we work, we search, we plan, but we do so with calm hearts, knowing that effort is our responsibility and results belong to Allah. Many people exhaust themselves chasing provision, as if running faster will make what is written arrive sooner. Others lose hope when things seem delayed. But understand this deeply. What is meant for you is traveling toward you, and it will arrive at the exact moment it is supposed to. Never early, never late. Sometimes Allah delays provision not because He dislikes you, but because He is protecting you. You may think you are ready, but He knows that if it came now, it might harm your faith, your character, or your gratitude. Delay is not rejection. Delay is preparation. Look at how often we beg Allah for things and later realize that not receiving them was the biggest mercy. Had you received everything you wanted immediately, you might not be standing where you are today. You might not have learned patience. You might not have learned humility. You might not have learned to turn to Allah sincerely in the quiet of the night. One of the secrets of sustenance is understanding that provision is not only money. Peace is sustenance. A stable family is sustenance. Contentment is sustenance. Faith in your heart is sustenance. There are people who have very little in their hands, yet their hearts are full. And there are those with plenty, yet they feel empty and restless. When Allah gives you contentment, even small provision feels like abundance. When contentment is missing, no amount of wealth will ever be enough. Another secret is this. Sustenance is connected to your relationship with Allah. Taqwa opens doors you didn't even know existed. When you are conscious of Allah in private and public, when you avoid what displeases Him even when no one is watching, Allah creates ease from places you never imagined. And never underestimate the power of dua. Dua does not change destiny alone. It can shape how destiny unfolds. Sometimes Allah has written difficulty, but He has also written that your dua will soften it. Sometimes He has written delay, but He has also written that your patience will turn that delay into elevation. Do not compare your journey to someone else's. Comparison steals gratitude and invites sadness. The timing of your life is unique because your test is unique. Someone may be ahead of you in wealth but behind you in peace. Someone may be ahead of you in status but struggling in faith. Allah distributes according to wisdom, not favoritism. And remember this beautiful truth. Allah will never test you with something that causes you to lose Him unless you choose to walk away yourself. Every hardship carries within it a bridge back to Allah. Every struggle is an invitation to trust Him more deeply. When you truly believe that Allah is Ar-Razzaq, the provider, your heart learns to relax. You still work hard, but you stop panicking. You stop begging creation. You stop humiliating yourself for what is already written for you. Your job is not to control destiny. Your job is to walk toward Allah with sincerity. When you do that, even unanswered prayers become a form of answered mercy. So walk forward with hope, wake up with effort, sleep with trust, keep your tongue moist with remembrance, keep your heart alive with gratitude, and know without a doubt that the one who provided for you yesterday will never abandon you tomorrow. May Allah grant us provision that brings us closer to Him, destiny that strengthens our faith, and hearts that remain content no matter what comes our way. Ameen. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most comforting truths in our faith is knowing that sustenance is not random, nor is it uncertain. It is written by Allah with perfect knowledge and wisdom. Long before we entered this world, before our names were spoken, before our faces were seen, our provision was already decreed. What we will earn, how we will earn it, and when it will reach us has all been recorded. This knowledge alone should bring peace to hearts that are constantly worried about survival, income, and the future. However, this divine decree does not mean that we abandon effort or sit back in laziness. Islam never teaches passivity. We are commanded to strive, to work, to seek lawful means, and to put in our best effort. The balance lies in understanding that effort is an act of worship, while the outcome is a gift from Allah. You move your feet, but Allah opens the doors. You plant the seed, but Allah causes it to grow. Without effort, we disobey the command to strive. Without trust, we forget who truly provides. Many people misunderstand destiny and use it as an excuse for inaction. They say, if my sustenance is written, why should I try? But this thinking contradicts the very wisdom behind destiny. Allah has written not only the provision, but also the path through which it will come. Your work, your skills, your patience, and your persistence are all part of that decree. When you seek halal sustenance, even your daily struggle becomes an act of obedience rewarded by Allah. At the same time, some people place so much emphasis on effort that they forget Allah altogether. They believe that success comes solely from intelligence, connections, or hard work. When things go well, they become proud. When things collapse, they become hopeless. This mindset drains the soul because it places an unbearable burden on the human being to control what was never meant to be controlled. True understanding brings calm. You do your best, then you leave the result to Allah. If success comes quickly, you remain grateful, not arrogant. If it comes slowly, you remain patient, not bitter. And if it comes in a form different from what you expected, you trust that Allah knows. WS what you do not. There is a beautiful lesson in how provision often arrives. Sometimes it comes through ease, sometimes through struggle. Sometimes it arrives through people you never expected. Sometimes it comes after doors close, teaching you that your reliance should never be on creation, but on the Creator. If Allah has written something for you, the entire world could try to stop it and they would fail. And if Allah has not written it for you, the entire world could try to give it to you and they would fail. This understanding protects the heart from jealousy and resentment. You stop looking at what others have and questioning your own worth. You realize that provision is not a measure of Allah's love or anger. It is a test given in different amounts to see how we respond. Some are tested with abundance, others with scarcity, and both are equally challenging. Effort then becomes dignified and peaceful. You work hard, but you don't break your soul in the process. You chase excellence, not desperation. You ask Allah before you ask people. You trust His timing even when the weight feels heavy. And when this balance settles in the heart, something beautiful happens. Fear reduces. Anxiety loosens its grip. You realize that the one who sustained you yesterday when you had nothing will sustain you tomorrow as well. Your responsibility is sincerity and effort and honesty in means. The rest is already taken care of. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most misunderstood aspects of destiny is delay. When something we desire does not arrive on time, we quickly assume that Allah has said no. We begin to question our worth, our efforts, even our prayers. But in reality, delay in the plan of Allah is never a sign of neglect. It is a sign of wisdom. What we see as waiting, Allah sees as perfect timing. In our limited understanding, we judge outcomes based on speed. We think that if something is good, it should happen quickly. And if it does not, then it must not be meant for us. But Allah does not operate according to our impatience. He operates according to knowledge that encompasses the past, the present, and the future. He knows not only what you want, but what you need, what will benefit you, and what could harm you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Many times Allah delays something because you are not ready for it. You may think you are prepared, but readiness is not only about desire. It is about maturity, gratitude, responsibility, and the ability to handle a blessing without letting it pull you away from Him. If a gift arrives too early, it can become a trial that weakens your faith rather than strengthens it. So Allah waits not to deprive you, but to protect you. Sometimes the delay is meant to grow you. During the waiting period, you learn patience, you learn humility. You learn how to turn to Allah sincerely, not only when things go wrong, but when your heart feels tired of waiting. The moments when you raise your hands in quiet desperation, when no one sees your tears except Allah, are moments of deep connection. Those moments may be more valuable than the thing you are waiting for. There are also times when Allah delays something to replace it with something better. If everything you asked for was given exactly as you imagined, you might settle for less than what Allah wanted to give you. Delay creates space for redirection. It teaches you to trust that Allah's choice is always superior to your own preference, even when it challenges your patience. Think of how often in your life you desperately wanted something and later realized that not receiving it was a blessing. At the time, it felt like loss. Later, it felt like mercy. This is why believers are taught to say, Allah knows best, even when the heart is struggling. Faith does not mean the absence of pain. Faith means trusting Allah despite the pain. Delay also separates sincerity from entitlement. When something is delayed, it reveals what is truly in the heart. Do we continue to pray, or do we walk away? Do we remain respectful in our dua, or do we become demanding? Allah loves the servant who persists in turning to Him, even when the answer is not immediate. It is important to remember that delay does not cancel destiny. What is written for you cannot be erased by time. It will come to you when all the pieces are aligned, when you are ready, when circumstances are right, and when it will bring you closer to Allah rather than further away. Until then, the waiting itself becomes part of the reward. So do not rush Allah's plan. Do not measure His care by how quickly things happen. Measure it by how He sustains you while you wait. If Allah is still giving you strength, faith, and the ability to make dua, then He has not turned away from you. The believer learns to live between effort and trust, between hope and patience. And when something finally arrives after a long delay, you realize that the waiting was not wasted. It shaped you into someone capable of carrying the blessing with gratitude, humility, and remembrance of Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, among the most powerful truths that bring peace to a restless heart is the realization that what is meant for you will never miss you. In a world filled with comparison, competition, and constant pressure, people often feel as though they are falling behind. They see others achieving, receiving, advancing, and they begin to fear that opportunities are slipping away from them. But destiny does not operate on fear. Destiny moves by the command of Allah with precision that never fails. Nothing that is written for you can be taken by someone else. No person can steal your sustenance, your opportunities, or your share of this life. And likewise, you cannot force yourself into what was never meant for you, no matter how hard you try. When Allah decrees something, He also decrees the path it will take to reach you. Sometimes it comes smoothly, sometimes it takes a long route, but it always arrives exactly as written. This understanding frees the heart from jealousy. When you truly believe that what is yours is secure, you stop resenting what others have. You stop measuring your life against someone else's timeline. You begin to understand that different lives carry different tests. Someone may receive early success as a test of gratitude, while another is delayed as a test of patience. Both are under examination and both have the potential for reward. Many people exhaust themselves chasing what is not written for them, thinking that effort alone will force destiny to change. They compromise their values, their prayers, even their peace, believing that if they just push harder, they can grab what they want. But what Allah has not written, it'll never stay, even if it comes temporarily. And what Allah has written will remain, even if it is delayed. There is also comfort in knowing that missed opportunities are sometimes protection. You may look back at a door that closed and feel regret, thinking that your life would have been better if it had opened. But Allah closes doors with mercy, just as He opens them with generosity. That missed opportunity may have carried harm you could not see. That path may have led you away from Allah or into a test you were not ready to face. When something truly meant for you arrives, it brings a sense of calm rather than chaos. It fits into your life in a way that does not destroy your faith or your values. Even if it comes with challenges, it strengthens you instead of breaking you. This is a sign of divine alignment, not coincidence. Believing that what is meant for you will not miss you. Also teaches patience during times of loss. When something leaves your life, a relationship, a job, a plan, you learn to say, if it was written for me, it would have stayed. This does not erase the pain, but it prevents despair. It keeps the heart anchored in trust rather than drowning in regret. At the same time, this belief does not promote laziness. You still strive, you still plan, you still seek halal means, but you do so without desperation. You work with dignity, knowing that your effort is worship, not panic. You pursue excellence without selling your faith for results. And when the heart truly accepts this truth, comparison loses its power. You stop asking why someone else received something before you. You start asking how you can draw closer to Allah in your own journey. You Become focused on obedience rather than outcome. In the end, destiny is not something to fight against, but something to walk with. Trusting that what is meant for you will never miss you allows you to live with hope, effort, and peace all at once. And that peace is itself a form of provision from Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest gifts a believer can be granted is contentment. Contentment does not mean having everything you want. It means finding peace with what Allah has given you while continuing to strive in a dignified and lawful way. When contentment enters the heart, it completely changes how sustenance is experienced. The same amount of provision can feel heavy and insufficient to one person and abundant and fulfilling to another. The difference is not in what they possess, but in how their hearts perceive it. Many people believe that happiness will arrive once their income increases, their status improves, or their circumstances change. They postpone gratitude, thinking they will be thankful later when life is easier. But gratitude does not follow abundance. Abundance follows gratitude. When a person learns to appreciate what they already have, Allah places barakah in it. That barakah makes little feel like much and makes hardship bearable. Contentment protects the heart from constant dissatisfaction. Without it, a person is always chasing the next thing. When one goal is achieved, another desire immediately replaces it. This endless cycle creates exhaustion, not fulfillment. You may gain more, but you enjoy less. Contentment breaks this cycle by reminding you that provision is not only about accumulation, but about appreciation. And contentment is missing. Comparison takes over. You begin to look at what others have, their homes, their careers, their lifestyles, and you forget to count your own blessings. Comparison blinds you to the countless ways Allah has already taken care of you. It makes you feel deprived even when you are blessed. Contentment, on the other hand, shifts your focus inward. You begin to see how Allah has protected you, supported you, and guided you in ways you may have never noticed before. This does not mean that contentment kills ambition. Islam encourages excellence and growth. The difference lies in intention. A content heart strives to improve without becoming ungrateful. It works to progress while remaining thankful at every stage. Such a person understands that their worth is not tied to their possessions, but to their relationship with Allah. Contentment also brings emotional stability. When a person is content, setbacks do not break them. They may feel sadness, but they do not fall into despair. They understand that whatever Allah gives or withholds is part of a larger wisdom. This trust turns trials into lessons and delays into opportunities for reflection and growth. One of the signs of true contentment is peace in the heart, even when circumstances are not ideal. There are people with very little who sleep peacefully, and others with great wealth who remain restless and anxious. This teaches us that peace is not bought, it is granted. And it is granted to those who accept Allah's decree with humility and trust. Contentment also strengthens relationships. A person who is content is less likely to be consumed by envy or resentment. They are happy for others' succeed. Because they are secure in what Allah has written for them. This creates a heart that is generous, calm, and focused on self-improvement rather than competition. When you ask Allah for provision, ask Him for contentment alongside it. Because without contentment, provision becomes a test that weighs heavily on the soul. With contentment, even simple blessings shine with meaning. In the end, contentment changes not what you have, but how you live with what you have. It transforms sustenance from a source of anxiety into a reminder of Allah's mercy. And that transformation is one of the greatest forms of success a believer can achieve in this life. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest misconceptions people have is thinking that provision is unlocked only through effort alone. While effort is essential, there are spiritual keys that open doors no amount of planning or hard work can unlock on their own. Among the most powerful of these keys are dua, patience, and taqwa. When these three are present in a person's life, sustenance does not merely arrive. It arrives with barakah, ease, and peace. Dua is not a last resort. It is a constant connection. When you raise your hands to Allah, you are acknowledging that no matter how capable you are still dependent on Him. Dua is an act of humility, and Allah loves a heart that turns to Him sincerely. Sometimes Allah answers a dua immediately. Sometimes He delays it. Sometimes He replaces it with something better. And sometimes He saves its reward for the hereafter. But make no mistake, no sincere dua is ever wasted. There are moments when you feel your prayers are not being answered. And shaitan uses that feeling to create distance between you and Allah. But in reality, those moments are often when Allah is drawing you closer. He wants to hear your voice again and again. He wants you to rely on Him rather than on the temporary means of this world. Every time you make dua with a sincere heart, you are engaging in worship, regardless of the outcome you see. Patience is what allows you to continue making dua without bitterness. It is easy to be patient for a short time, but true patience is remaining respectful, hopeful, and consistent even when the wait is long. Patience does not mean silence or surrender. It means trusting Allah while continuing to strive. It means believing that Allah's delay carries wisdom, even when the heart feels tired. Patience shapes character. It removes arrogance, softens the heart, and teaches reliance on Allah alone. Many blessings come wrapped in patience because without it, those blessings would not be appreciated. A person who receives everything quickly may never learn humility, while a person who waits learns gratitude even before receiving. Taqwa is the foundation that supports both dua and patience. When a person is conscious of Allah in their actions, words, and intentions, Allah promises a way out of difficulty and provision from places they never expected. Taqwa is not perfection, it is awareness. It is choosing what pleases Allah even when no one is watching. It is walking away from what is haram even when it seems profitable. Many people seek more sustenance while ignoring the leaks in their lives caused by disobedience. When taqwa enters the heart, it seals those leaks. It purifies earnings, intentions, and actions. And pure provision, even if small, carries more barakah than large amounts earned without consciousness of Allah. When dua, patience, and taqwa come together, something powerful happens. The heart becomes stable. Fear of the future decreases. Trust in Allah increases. You begin to see doors opening in unexpected ways, not always exactly how you imagined, but always in ways that benefit your faith. These three qualities also change how you experience hardship. Difficulty no longer feels like punishment. It feels like a test, a lesson, or a redirection. You learn to ask Allah not only for relief, but for guidance through the trial. In the end, sustenance that comes with dua, patience, and taqwa does more than meet needs. It strengthens faith. It reminds you that Allah is close, attentive, and aware of every struggle in your heart. And that awareness alone is a form of mercy that sustains the soul long before provision reaches the hands. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest blessings a believer can experience is inner peace. And that peace often comes long before circumstances change. When a person truly trusts destiny, they begin to feel calm even while still waiting for answers. This trust is not passive resignation. It is a deep certainty that whatever Allah has written is better than what we could ever plan for ourselves. When that certainty settles in the heart, anxiety slowly loosens its grip. Many people believe peace will arrive after their problems are solved, after provision increases, or after their situation improves. But true peace works the other way around. Peace arrives first, and then it helps you carry whatever destiny unfolds. When you trust Allah's decree, you stop fighting reality and start flowing with it, knowing that nothing happens without wisdom, even when that wisdom is hidden from you. Trusting destiny means accepting that some things are beyond your control. You plan, you work, you strive, but you do not obsess. You do not replay what-if scenarios endlessly in your mind. You do not punish yourself for things that were never in your hands to begin with. This acceptance does not make you weak. It makes you emotionally strong. It frees your heart from the burden of trying to control the unseen. When trust enters the heart, fear of the future begins to fade. You realize that the same Allah who took care of you in the past is already present in your future. He is not surprised by what is coming, and He will not abandon you when it arrives. This belief turns uncertainty into anticipation rather than dread. Trusting destiny also changes how you respond to hardship. Instead of immediately asking, "Why me?" you begin to ask, "What is Allah teaching me?" This shift in perspective transforms pain into purpose. Even when tears fall, the heart remains connected to Allah, and that connection itself becomes a source of strength. There are moments when destiny feels heavy. Loss, disappointment, and delay can test the strongest hearts. But trust does not mean you will never feel sadness. It means that sadness will not destroy your faith. You grieve, but you do not lose hope. You struggle, but you do not walk away from Allah. You lean on Him more, not less. When you trust destiny, you also learn to release resentment. You stop blaming people for outcomes Allah decreed. You stop carrying anger over what could have been. This release is liberating. It allows the heart to heal and move forward without chains of bitterness. One of the most beautiful effects of trusting destiny is gratitude during uncertainty. You become thankful not only for what you have, but for what is being shaped behind the scenes. You trust that Allah is arranging events in ways you cannot yet see. That trust keeps your heart soft, hopeful, and receptive to goodness. And when provision finally arrives, it arrives to a heart that is ready, a heart that is calm, grounded, and grateful, a heart that understands that peace was never dependent on the provision itself, but on trust in the one who provides. In the end, trusting destiny is not about understanding everything. It is about knowing who is in control. When you place your heart in the care of Allah, peace becomes a constant companion. Even before answers come, even before doors open, and even before circumstances change. That peace is one of the greatest gifts Allah gives to those who truly rely on Him. My dear brothers and sisters, when we step back and look at the bigger picture, we realize that sustenance and destiny are not meant to frighten the believer. They are meant to comfort the heart. Allah did not create us and then leave us to struggle without care. Every provision, every delay, every test, and every blessing is written with wisdom, mercy, and purpose. We are reminded that our role is to strive sincerely, to choose what is lawful, and to walk the path of obedience while trusting Allah with the outcome. What is meant for us will never miss us, and what is delayed is never without reason. Contentment teaches us to appreciate what we have, while patience and dua keep us connected to the one who controls all affairs. And when we live with taqwa, Allah opens doors we never even imagined. Most importantly, trusting destiny grants us peace. Peace that is not dependent on wealth, status, or circumstances, but on certainty in Allah. This peace allows us to face the future with hope instead of fear, effort instead of desperation, and faith instead of doubt. So let us move forward with hearts anchored in trust, tongues filled with remembrance, and actions guided by sincerity. Let us ask Allah for provision that brings us closer to Him, destiny that strengthens our faith, and hearts that remain content in every situation. Because when Allah is enough for us, then everything else finds its rightful place. May Allah grant us reliance that never wavers, patience that never breaks, and contentment that fills our hearts in this world and the next. Ameen.